Let's face it, it can't be easy being a sidekick in a game. There you are, ready to be a hero, and then some random chosen one comes along who doesn't know what they're doing. First off, you have to deal with answering all their questions, then teach them to jump, shoot, and steal your thunder. No, don't worry, you go right ahead and get all the glory. I'll be right here. Another problem sidekicks face is that we, the players, actually might just want some alone time after a hard day in the real world. How do you let someone have an adventure and feel like they're doing something valuable while you talk all the time? Plus, if they aren't gibbering incessantly, sidekicks are also known for completely getting in the way or just plain freaking us the hell out. The good news though is that not all gaming companions are bad. Here are the 9 sidekicks in PC gaming who are definitely more useful than your real friends.
It sure is good to see a friendly face.
Okay, this might be a bone of contention, but we just had to pick one sidekick from Far Cry 5. Otherwise this video would just be a love letter to the 4-legged friends of Hope County. Oh, and maybe Nick. So Boomer is an obvious choice here. Not only is he officially the best boy, but this handsome canine has a stack of abilities that means he comes in really useful in the wilderness. While Peaches and Cheeseburger are brilliant in their own cuddly, deadly ways, Boomer labels up enemies nearby for you, a serious boon when you're wandering the wilds of Montana and don't want to walk straight into a cult member. And he'll dig up fresh ammo from corpses, as well as bring you fresh guns. Sure, you'll add more companions as you progress, but there's something about swimming and exploring with Boomer that means you'll never get in a car or onto a bike because you don't want to leave him behind. If that's not true friendship, we don't know what is. Sure, you could say that the best sidekick in games is a mute yet adorable cube, but that would just be mean to the ever helpful but completely idiotic Wheatley.
If you do feel alarmed, try to hold on to that feeling, because that is the proper reaction to being told that you've got brain damage.
Well, helpful until he's really not helpful, but we'll avoid that. If you don't know what we're talking about, you have our permission to stop watching this video and go and play Portal 2. Yes, now, off you pop. Right, now they're gone, we can get on with the matter at hand. The joys of the Stephen Marchant-voiced personality core Wheatley are tenfold, mostly because of his complete inability to act intelligently in any situation. Literally created to be a part of GLaDOS to generate endless bad ideas and dampen her intelligence, Wheatley was born to be a complete and utter moron. And at least for the first half of the game, we absolutely love him for it. Oh, what am I saying? We always love you, Wheatley. We hope you're out there, somewhere.
I'm in space.
I know you are, mate. Yeah, we're both in space.
It's perhaps unfair to cast Half-Life 2's Alex Vance as a sidekick. Deuteragonist is probably closer to the truth, but you were never clicking on a video with that word in the title. Alex is the human face of the often clinical world of Half-Life, and a fantastic emotional foil for the monosyllabic Gordon Freeman. On top of that, she's a capable fighter, a brilliant hacker, and the owner of a wonderful robot dog, all of which would be useful traits even if the world wasn't in the grip of an extraterrestrial incursion. But more than this, she's sensitive, witty and optimistic, giving the player hope even when things seem relentlessly bleak. In a game that stands out for being perfectly paced and meticulously designed, Alex Vance somehow manages to elevate things to a new emotional level, providing warmth, humanity and a fine line in terrible zombie jokes.
That's like a zombie, right? Zombie, get it?
Okay, this is the second good boy on this list, but hear us out. When the nuclear apocalypse comes, it turns out that what you really need, after a swift dose of Radaway, is a furry canine friend to wander the wasteland with. Dogmeat has been available as a companion since the first Fallout, but it was in Fallout 4 where we really got to appreciate the true joyous nature of man's best friend in higher resolution. Once you collect him at the Red Rocket truck stop, you can send Dogmeat to hunt down first aid and useful items, or even just use him to cheer yourself up and do some tricks. And if you've ever wondered where all that personality comes from, Dogmeat is based on a Bethesda Softworks dev's German Shepherd, River. Also important to note is that you can of course accessorise Dogmeat, pop a bandana and a pair of welding goggles into his inventory and he becomes a true fashionista. We know what you're thinking. Quiet might look like she's been found locked in a closet after having her clothes stolen, and we'll ignore that stuff about being ashamed of her words and deeds, because truthfully, Mr. Kojima, we have no idea what it means, but however you spin it, she's still a fascinating and challenging sidekick. During its finest moments, Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain is a lonely, isolated game, and there's something about Quiet watching over you that's amazingly reassuring. You can be cowering in your cardboard box, surrounded by people who want to murder you, and hearing Quiet's lilting, ghostly melody over the radio makes you feel that little bit less alone. And, for all her significance to the main story, it's the simple personal moments that make her feel so important. The unspoken relationship between Quiet and Venom Snake and its ultimate conclusion is more satisfying than the main quest in the Phantom Pain. And for that, Quiet, you useful photosynthesizing headshot dispenser, we salute you. And we're sorry about dropping boxes on your head.
Did you get her?
Truthfully, we could have done a video on the top 10 Mass Effect sidekicks and we'd still have been spoiled for choice. But Garrus Vakarian was always getting the nod here because he represents everything that's great about BioWare's space opera. If you've played Mass Effect, you won't see a leathery skinned cat alien here, you see a friend, an ally, and potentially a paramour depending on how you played the game. In a universe of threatening alien squid and senseless peril, Garrus provides a relatable, if not quite human element. He's so well written that you never imagine for a single second that none of this stuff exists, we just haven't found it yet. In that sense, Garrus is useful because he brings an entire sci-fi galaxy to life. He's so good, in fact, that it feels like he exists inside the game even when you turn it off. To the point that it's even possible for him to end up in a relationship with Tali. Sorry, I'm interrupting.
I think one of my mandibles got hooked on her helmet.
Despite going through all kinds of changes since her first reveal too many E3s ago to count, Bioshock Infinite's Elizabeth ended up being an excellent sidekick for the brain-mangling skyhook wielder Booker DeWitt. Elizabeth manages to not just deliver a genuinely heartfelt element of the story, but also comes in useful when you need someone to throw you salts or pick a lock while you're otherwise engaged sending jets of water to drown foes on dry land. No matter which side of Bioshock Infinite you err on, it's hard to deny that the most touching and pivotal moments in Columbia come from this relationship. From plucking her from the protective clutches of a giant mechanical bird after she throws books at you, to finding her dancing on the pastel-coloured cloud piers, the highlights of Bioshock Infinite come from experiencing the world with Elizabeth.
Oh, this is wonderful! Oh, come dance with me, Mr. DeWitt.
I don't dance.
The Assassin's Creed series has always had a thing about eagles. In early Creeds, that's how you knew where sync points were, and that hood you're sporting has, of course, what's called an eagle peak. And the reason for all this? Senu, Bayek's trusty Bonelli's eagle, is where it all began, and she makes a lovely, if unobtrusive sidekick in Assassin's Creed Origins. Constantly circling the skies above Bayek, you can switch to her bird's eye view at the press of a button to see how to sneak into forts or just plain take in the sights. Oh, and yes, she can barrel roll. When you aren't admiring the gold tips of the pyramids, you can use Senu to tag up enemies, spot treasure and mission objectives, and even get her to harass foes of your choice while you slip past undetected. If all that wasn't enough, stand still and take in the wonders of ancient Egypt, and Senu will pop down for a seat on Bayek's arm. If you haven't pressed the eagle switch button, you're totally missing out. Yes, I am saying that an eagle is better than your real friends. Lydia holds a special place in the hearts of many Skyrim players, not because she's the best companion or the strongest fighter or because she's especially good company, but mainly because she's the first follower any of us ever had. And we love Lydia despite her being a disaster. Her sneak skill is so low it's like exploring Skyrim alongside a sentient tool chest. She somehow manages to still be in your way while you're crossing a vast expansive tundra, and her combat strategy, which essentially amounts to charge in and hope you don't die, means that she's permanently on the brink of fiery annihilation. And while none of that sounds especially useful, we'd happily be BFFs IRL because she represents the hope and excitement of playing Skyrim for the first time. And because, she could carry your stuff. Reluctantly.
I am sworn to carry your burdens.
So there they are, the 9 best sidekicks in games who are definitely handier than your real friends. And yes, we left off Minsk from Baldur's Gate, but he technically counts as 2 entries because of that hamster of his, and it just wasn't fair on the other entries. Have we missed anyone you'd feel lonely without? Let us know who in the comments below. If you agree with our selection of virtual friends, drop us a like, and for more videos just like this one, don't forget to subscribe to Logitech G.